Hi guys, Ryu here, and let's talk about render engines in Blender. Two main engines, Eevee and Cycles. What's the difference? Eevee is like cleaning your place by shoving everything under the bed. Cycles would be closer to calling a professional team to steam your place up and make it really clean. That's the difference, okay? Cycles is a real deal. Realistic lighting and shadows. So in short, if you want to have a good portfolio and you care about quality of your work, you go Cycles. It takes a bit longer, but with proper settings and a half decent hardware, you're gonna stay within a range of minutes for renders. Yes, it's not that bad. Eevee is good for stuff like animations or short previews or short clips. Like for instance, the video for this tutorial that you're watching, the intro was actually baked in Eevee. So you need to make a decision which engine you want to choose. But again, if you're serious about your work and you want to create a portfolio, or you want your work to look as good as possible, then Cycles is the way to go. It's not a no-brainer. Now, how do you access render engine in Blender? This is your solid mode view, right? And you can see a weird color here because I simply have a textured mode turned on, and I have a texture running on this cube which assigns a random color in a view display, which is this one. That's why you're seeing this weird color, but you can turn it off here, okay? So this one is a solid look. Right now, render engines are here, and this is these two tabs here on the top. You can switch between Cycles and Eevee, and you have different settings for both. So for Cycles, you can change number of samples, you can change a light path, which means how many times light bounces. You can, turn on or off transparency of your HDRI image, so if your background, all kinds of stuff here, right? Then you have size of the image and output. For Eevee, settings are a bit different. You got ambient occlusion, bloom, screen space reflections, refractions, so stuff like glass, for example. That's where you're gonna go and set it up, and quality of shadows, etc. Right? So it's a little bit different. And then you have something called look depth, which is somewhere in between, but it's more closely related to Eevee, I would say, because it kind of also emulates light, and it's really fast. You can actually work in it, so it's it's pretty cool to work in it because you can visualize your work with materials and lighting and shadows. It's kind of cool. So you can also change lightings here, so you can switch it to the same light as you have in your main scene, because you can download and install custom HDRI files, which means those background files with light information in them. Now, once you set everything up and you want to render an image, you go here and click on render image or animation. You could also render a viewport image, which means it's exactly what you're looking at right now. So go to view and then render viewport image, and you're gonna get exactly what you're looking at. So that would cover the basics of rendering engines. Now, Eevee takes much less time to render images, but it's way less accurate as well. So you save time, but you lose some quality, a lot of it, in fact. However, Eevee is fantastic for dark images with a lot of lights, rainy, like rainy scenes with water reflections. It's kind of cool. But when you start rendering stuff like environments, rooms, something that actually touches reality, Cycles simply can't be beaten in this competition. It just wins every time, all the time. So if you want to go realistic, go Cycles. If you want to go funky and gamey, go Eevee. But again, Cycles is the way to go, in my opinion. Now, Cycles has a bad reputation by being an engine that takes hours to render, but if you know how to set properly everything up and you use Compositor, renders that are 1440p with a lot of stuff in them, light and all that, could take not more than 2-3 minutes to render at high quality. So it's simply about knowing how to set things up. That should cover all the basics of rendering that I think you should know of. Thanks for watching.